Hey, friends, this is a emergency edition of Stacking Pennies. We're going to break down post-season awards. My friend Ryan Flores here, front tire changer on the championship-winning car of Ryan Blaney. Scoped out all things NASCAR, as well as the big two-day test at Phoenix, going through all different things, Goodyear tires, aero widgets, knickknacks. We're going to break that all down today right here on Stacking Pennies, presented by Mobile One.
Stacking them deep, selling them cheap.
It tastes like gasoline, rubber, and victory.
We're just out here stacking pennies.
And we're back, guys. Hey, I'm Corey, driver number 7 Chevy Camaro. And we were taking a little bit of off-season time, but here we are. We're right back in studio because we have a couple things to cover. My friend here, Ryan Flores. How you doing?
Hey, great.
Damn good to see you.
Happy to be here.
You should be.
Never happier.
I feel like you've been in North Carolina for like 3 days since Phoenix.
Yeah, it's nice to. I'm going to PRI today, then I'm parking my ass on the couch in North Carolina until
Next week,
December's over. No, I'm not going again. Hell, we've been it's like the race was over. We went to Puerto Rico, then we went to Jersey to race the Turkey Derby, which I finished, made the race, finished dead last because we broke a motor. But there was a $100 bonus to finish last, so that was okay. And then
Nice.
then we came home for a couple days and went to Nashville.
So you've been a busy man. I've been busy too in a different way. We're moving, boxing stuff up, moving stuff. Got a bunch of contractors, new house, doing a bunch of just kitchens and all the little knickknacks and stuff. So, but throw a curveball in the situation because rarely do we get asked to do an org test, organization test. So that means 2 teams from every manufacturer. Chevy's out there at Phoenix this past week, and we're going to break this down after Nashville, but it was the 5-car, us, the 43, who's now TRD, the 20, the 12, our reigning champion, Ryan Blaney, and the 17 for RFK, Christopher Buescher were out there. So kind of pretty heavy loaded, front loaded with, I think, 4 out of those 6 cars were in the top 4, 5 or 6 in points. So that was a good barometer.
Hell, we might as well just get into it right now.
Let's get into it right now because that's
You can't,
fresh.
I know
fresh
race
on
car
our mind.
drivers can't wait to talk about racing. They're old cars.
You can only talk about guys that have fucking suits at the banquet for so long.
I could give a flying handshake about anybody's suit at that.
All right, let's talk about the nitty gritty. And so we go to
First thing sticks out to me: white wheels on Booster's car.
What'd you think about it?
I think that's a good idea.
Thought it looked cool.
And we can do that at flow coating. So that's what's good.
Yeah.
I've got a couple wheels in there right now that we're trying out.
Who did those?
I don't know who did them.
Oh.
I think they probably painted them. But yeah, I think I think when you open up that window to be able to get a little bit more creativity, that's good for everybody because those wheels are I think they're a pretty big focal point on the car now. So you know, they stick out more so than the old wheels did, and the Penske cars when they had, you know, colored wheels always look cool. So yeah, it's definitely makes your car pop. So I'm excited to see if more teams trend that way.
It would be cool because I've always liked 2311's wheels. They're black, gloss black. They look sweet. It'd be cool to see some different color wheels.
Yeah, and the undertaking of switching to a wheel and one lug nut system, you know, we're still kind of figuring out what's good and what's not. So now we can take the next progression and start changing color. That's kind of been on the back burner of everything, more so just trying to get
What about some
stuff
spinners?
to the racetrack.
What if we put some spinners
No,
on?
that would be highly illegal and would be more weight.
It'd be cool, though. They'd be still spinning.
Hey, maybe we can do it on a show car.
That'd be cool. So first off, what it looked like since it was I didn't see any media there at the racetrack.
No, I didn't see much of it.
I'm not on social media, even though I was. Shout out to Sean Brennan from Alpha Vision Media. Voted the best driver on social media. Love to hear it.
Hey.
Just
Let's
getting
go.
dubs. Getting dubs. So appreciate the votes on that. I was curious of what you saw on social media of the test.
Not much. I saw you and Larson Racing, which somebody absolutely roasted you.
What'd they say?
They said, damn, LaJoie getting lapped in a test. I said, I almost DM'd him like, hey, that's my friend.
Well,
But I was like,
that's tough. Well, hey, if you rewound a month when we were there, we were legitimately a last place car. Me and AJ Allmendinger were racing our balls off for last and dead last.
There's some like,
But
hey, respect on the burn, man.
I can appreciate a good burn.
Respect them. That's what I was like,
So
I want to say something, but
no
respect.
I put it out there, man. Mom's meatloaf tastes good in the basement too. So, so here's how it worked. We show up there with what they called the control tire, which was the tire we raced at Phoenix. Standard diffuser, standard splitter. What we raced all year to get just a baseline run, tune your stuff, get the baseline data, line it up for a 15. So when you unload, they took your fastest time, inverted it, and raced it for 15 laps. Caution comes out, you swap the order, and then you go again for another 15 laps. I think we were fourth, maybe third out of the truck, so we had some speed.
How hard are you guys racing?
85%, probably 90%.
Okay.
Especially in the beginning, you're probably 80% getting a feel for it, and by the end of a 2-day test, you got a really good feel for the tire, so you can be 93 to 96. When you're racing next to somebody, you're going to be a little bit more.
You give them a little more room.
You get a little more room.
Your aero block, you do all that same stuff.
Yeah, you try to.
It's got to be the same as what you're going to be racing.
You try to actually do that a little bit more. Like you want to, if you're trying to tell a different splitter, which we can get that in a second, the up-down splitter. So we race our original package. Then we go through like 4 different variations of tire with the current or aero package. So you change compound, thicker gauge Phoenix tire. It laid a lot of rubber down. The track got really wide.
So when you say that, it's just more rubber on the tire. It's just a thicker tire.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So
which is
more
what
rubber,
they ran at Martinsville
same
last
compound.
year?
Martinsville tire was a thicker gauge, softer compound.
Okay.
So this is a Phoenix compound, a little bit harder, but more rubber. That got the track really wide. After about 8-10 laps, you could run the third groove. And it gave you a lot of options, and you were slipping and sliding around a little bit. So run through all that stuff. Then we put the new up-down splitter, which for cliff notes on that, they made the splitter to where underneath of it, it actually kicks the opposite way. It kicks down to where when you're by yourself, it actually makes lift. So the car almost makes zero downforce when it's going 120 miles an hour.
Can you feel it?
So when you are in traffic, the idea of it is since the car's doesn't have air packed on it, it's now making downforce because it originally makes lift when it's by itself. Think of like a 1970 Plymouth Daytona with the big wedge nose on it. Those things made lift. That's why they had to put a big spoiler on the back. That was kind of the thought process behind it. It did allow you to, so then they also put what they call a simple diffuser, so it doesn't have any downturn. So right now we have like 4 carbon fiber strakes. A lot of juice is made in that piece to squeeze the air on the way out of the back of the car. That's what makes pretty much the majority of the downforce of the car. So NASCAR says we're getting rid of it. It's literally just a piece of 3/16 aluminum with like 2 strakes.
I saw a picture of that in the back of Larson's car.
So with the current diffuser we've been racing, the more sideways the car gets, the rear downforce falls off a cliff. So the more sideways you get, you lose a lot of rear DF. Now with this simple diffuser, the more sideways it gets, it doesn't lose as much downforce, so you can kind of hang the car out and not bust your ass as easily.
So is it this one?
Yeah. Okay. So that's what we're calling the simple diffuser.
I'll send that to Sean. He can put it up on the broadcast.
That was a pretty much unanimous yes. Then we put simultaneously on the up-down splitter. That changed the balance of the car, as you would imagine, quite a bit because they had to make the front shocks longer so you couldn't travel the front as much. Made the thing kind of bounce and hop if you just went from nothing to that without optimizing your stuff. So that was about a split opinion on it. Some guys kind of liked it. Some guys, this stinks.
So just took the car out of the
some
track
indifference
and made it bounce.
Which was kind of the goal from everything NASCAR's been hearing. There's too much grip in the cars. They don't handle behind in traffic well. Okay, we have to take some downforce off to make some lift by itself, so that way it creates some downforce in traffic. And I personally felt, and there was a couple other guys that felt, it allowed you to get closer to the back bumper.
Okay.
Marginally. Not much.
Okay.
It wasn't worse. Was it like a magic bullet, like holy moly, worst freaking nose to tail sliding around with more downforce behind somebody than you do in front? No, because physics are still physics. But there was a little bit indifference to that, to where I don't know. I mean, that's going to be a 7, potentially 8-figure process to get that developed in enough time, tooling, and supplied to all the teams for the short track races. I don't know if there was enough resounding yeses for NASCAR to pull a trigger on that and feel good about it.
Yeah.
So in our first day meeting, we talked about, hey, why don't we try the current splitter with the simple diffuser? That wasn't even on the agenda.
Okay.
With the Martinsville tire, because we all thought the Martinsville tire was going to be a lot of grip on the front end of the run, and it was going to fall off a cliff.
Which is not what happened at Martinsville.
Which is not what happens in Martinsville. And come to find out, the Goodyear guys were like, those tires aren't made to fall off; they're made to lay rubber down. So you put the Martinsville tires on thicker gauge rubber, also softer durometer rubber, and the thing drives like a super light model. It was, you could pound it in the corner, it would turn, it would go. But it kept it one lane.
Yeah.
So we won one of the 50-lap races on the Martinsville tire because I was able to park it on the bottom, aero block, and the top really never came in.
Hey, congrats on the win.
Thanks, man. I asked if I can do donuts anywhere in the front straightaway.
What'd they say, no?
Sparks like, I don't know if Goodyear would like that. Well, I don't care.
Should have done a Polish victory lap. Just turn around.
I should have.
Oh,
but
my God.
That was my goal. Like, I'm winning one of these races, by God. And we did. Because there was, I don't know, 4 out of the 6 guys didn't win. Larson won one. Maybe Busher won one. The 20 car was blazing fast. He was super fast. He ended up blowing up. So,
they always run better.
Before they blow up. Well, we ran 600 laps.
He's had a rough go at Phoenix last 2 races. That deal with the brakes was bad. But so what moved the needle the most on the first day?
There wasn't really any big metrics besides just putting that up-down splitter on.
Okay.
And that wasn't really...
And the simple diffuser. Mm-hmm. So which one of those... So moving in... Recap the first day. We liked the simple diffuser. Unsure
on the up-down. It wasn't like... It wasn't massively better.
Okay.
Because it takes the front tires in the positivity way, so you can't really maneuver as well.
Okay, so you unload the second day. What's the package you unload with?
You unload with up-down splitter, simple diffuser, and then you run through the same tires that you ran the first day that you didn't run with that downforce package.
Okay.
So ran through all that, really honed in on the 2 tires that seemed everybody liked were the Phoenix thicker gauge tire that laid a lot of rubber down, track got really wide. It did, so those tires make more heat because they're sliding, where the Martinsville tires don't make heat because the car's locked down, right?
Yeah.
Corner's
that makes
better.
Sense.
You're not free on exit. The thing's just stuck. Therefore, it's not going to peel rubber away because it's not sliding.
So you just have a ton of grip with the Martinsville tire. Mm-hmm. So the drivers didn't like that?
The drivers unanimously said, we like the way it drives because you can just hammer drive the crap out of it. You're not like...
It's not going to be great for racing, but if you're asking a driver, right?
Well, that's what... We all agreed, hey, it's way more fun to drive. But it's not going to create better racing because the track didn't get very wide. It only got a lane and a half wide.
Yeah.
So... we seemed to all like that Phoenix thicker gauge tire that laid rubber down, and it gave you a little more drivability.
What was the fall off?
About a second in 25 laps.
Okay. And
then it kind of plateaus, and you might lose a second over the course of 50 laps.
That's important to me because Phoenix, you don't want it to be a place where...
So, for example, you fired off at 27.70s, and your lap fall off trajectory would be like you're in 3 laps of 70s, 3 laps of 80s, 3 laps of 90s, and then you're kind of flats, and then you're like every 5 laps losing about a tenth. Mm-hmm. And then you get to where you lose 8 to 9 tenths, and then you kind of maintain there because your tires get to peak temp, and that's just what the grip the car is giving you.
Yeah.
With how much they cool down the straightaways, how much tires stay at peak temp, that's just what you have. So we all liked that. With the audible after the first day, I'm glad people have. There's the talking point about shifting. Shifting's killing it in short track racing. Tired of hearing that, because in the same breath people are talking about not shifting, they're also asking for more horsepower. Shifting gives you horsepower. It gives you 15% more horsepower to keep it in the torque range. I see you're disagreeing with me.
No,
I'm gonna argue.
I don't know. I don't care either way. I just
Somebody asked a question in the drivers' meeting on the first day. Has anybody that has said we need to stop shifting actually practice these things with no shifting?
Oh, it would suck.
And they said, well, no. And then everybody laughed because everybody in the room realizes that not shifting these things would be worse.
Yeah, it's a totally different car.
It's a totally different car.
Yeah, like go back to like why
lower
do you,
RPMs.
Okay, why do you not want to shift?
I don't know why.
Why do you not want to shift?
Because
they didn't shift. Oh, they didn't shift. They didn't shift 1995.
There's going to be some
why?
tweets, and there's going to be some people that are going to be like, well, you got to be more precise and keep your minimum RPMs up 80 RPMs to get the momentum off the corner.
Okay.
There's more variance, as we have seen at certain racetracks. When you downshift, it can go a little bit hairy for you.
Why does anybody give a shift or not? Are you racing and passing each other or not?
Yeah.
Right? And if that's like the easy thing to do as in our sport is to be like, well, this is what's different. We need to change that. Like, okay, maybe I can see it at Martinsville, but I think there's a little bit like more low-hanging fruit at Martinsville for a better race. But also, the best car at the last Martinsville race was a 12 car. He just drove by everybody on the outside, so it can be done.
Because the tire laid down good rubber.
Yes.
And the track got wide.
The rubber meets the road. That's the most important
and
thing.
also, I don't think it's talked about it enough. The media just loves talking about how terrible the racing is when I feel like we have a barn burner about every other week anymore. Dude, but now, the guy that's running 25th is exponentially closer to the guy that's running 5th than he's ever been in the sport.
Yeah.
So people want to look at people that have a pit road penalty or things like that have a quote-unquote dominant car, get back in traffic and can't make their way back. That's how it should be.
That's how it should be.
If you want to win a cup race, you have to be perfect.
Gotta be right. So what are your 3 biggest takeaways from the test that you think we should implement on the car for our new downforce package?
I think considering the financial undertaking that NASCAR would have to do for the up-down splitter, I don't think it's
not worth it.
It's not vastly worth it.
Yeah, okay.
Stick with the splitters that everybody has.
Yeah.
That go from Martinsville to Daytona.
Yep.
Definitely the simple diffuser because I think
for short tracks.
I think it does a couple of things. Yeah, because it takes so much downforce off for intermediate. You'd be busting your ass.
Intermediate stuff is perfect right now.
I think our intermediate stuff's great.
It's perfect. I think you couldn't
because the balance between somebody out front. Larson was talking about it in the meetings. He says that the intermediate package is great because your balance shift when you're by yourself, you're loose.
Yeah.
So the guy that's leading can't get away because he's getting his right rear tire hot.
Yeah.
And the guys in traffic, their balance is a bit tighter.
Yeah.
They're heating the right front up. That's why it always, by the end of the run, the leader who's been out there in clean air is backing up to the guy running second because he still has some right rear tire left.
Yeah.
Don't touch the intermediate package. It's good.
And you can race side by side, which we have never been able to see
ever
in intermediate stuff
in any race car in history
ever
until this one.
Yes.
So let's appreciate that. Simple diffuser at the short tracks.
Simple diffuser just at short tracks, which is what people have been talking about
because
quite a bit.
It allows us to do a couple things. It allows us to slip the tires more and not worry about getting to the point where it loses all downforce and then you chatter and you're back in the fence.
Yeah.
Which also might encourage some tire spin, burn the right rear tire off. You might be able to save your stuff a bit better because you have the ability to hang it out there and blow your right rear tire off if you want it. Right now, you have to be so far under the tire because the more you bend it, the more yaw you get in the car, you lose downforce. Okay. So you can bend the car more 2-3 degrees, and you can legitimately hang it and
drive it
off the right rear tire.
Where with the regular diffuser, you would just
lose
spin out
your
like
downforce.
an Indy car, like where it just snaps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So well, that's cool because we always thought that was the less sidewall on the tires is why you would snap around.
No, it's because the downforce, rear downforce falls off a cliff the more sideways it gets.
Yeah, and that. So just run me through a recap of this simple diffuser one more time. It's aluminum.
Yeah, it's essentially a dust cover that covers up the transaxle and all the stuff up underneath.
Is it almost like what we ran at the dirt track?
Yeah.
Okay, so it would be quite easy to build.
Yeah. Well, there'd be a single source manufacturer for that.
Yeah. So, but the
they
undertaking
they probably would
be,
make it out of carbon. So the current diffuser,
yeah.
it's a financial gain for the team because the diffuser's $5,000, and you legitimately burn through a diffuser every race. Every race you put a new diffuser on it.
Okay.
Strakes. Most of the time you're hitting the flat, or if somebody hits you in the back bumper, you're breaking a diffuser. That's just the way it's designed, unfortunately. That you like the splitter hits the diffuser and it cracks it, and that's over.
Who builds the diffusers?
Fiberworks.
Good for them.
Yeah, so job security is good for those.
Make it, baby.
So, there can be some shenanigans if it's just straight up aluminum, right? There's been teams that have learned well enough to copy Richardson's marks. There are certain people that have bent the rules enough. So I think NASCAR is aware of the potential shenanigans.
Yeah.
They might get that diffuser made, a simple diffuser made from Fiberworks, make it out of carbon fiber with simple strakes, and we'll just keep it moving.
So the simple diffuser and tire is what you think the biggest gainers are going to be.
So those are the only levers really that NASCAR has in their pocket right now to change. And Goodyear's willing to change it, and NASCAR's willing to do whatever it takes to deliver what the fans are asking for.
Okay.
And the drivers. They're listening to us, but I don't think in a lot of ways they need to listen to the drivers as the end all be all. So all in all, I think it was for us was a super productive test. One, because we had all of the new personnel, all the brain trust we have over at Spire. I think they announced already Luke Lambert's crew chief and Carson Hocevar.
Was Luke there?
Yep. As well as Steven Duran came from the lead engineer. Yeah.
I love Steve.
As well as one of the engineers off the 48 is going to be lead engineer for the 71 in Zane's car with Steve. And so it was cool just to be in the conversation with a lot more ideas. Luke coming over from Legacy Motor Club. Duran coming from Stewart Haas. I don't think he had any input in the name. So it was cool just to hear different engineering philosophies, and the setup that we had at the test that was really competitive was much different than what we raced there, which was nice because we were actually in the mix. Felt good to race around the 12. Felt good to race around the 5. 'Cause obviously, not racing around those guys very often, but that was gave me some confidence leaving there that our team is on the rise and we have the potential to run good if we bring the right stuff.
You know why I think you were really competitive with the 12s? Because there was no stops. That's why.
Think so?
Yep, because there was a gap jump pit road.
Probably so.
No,
my guys were good this year. I think
they were good.
In the top 10.
They were. There was times where I was like, about 7.
Yeah.
Got to shoot them with the air gun next time by.
Don't do that. So yeah, it was. Still, at the end of the day, it's track position. You want to be as close to the front as you can get, and cleaner, undisturbed air is always going to be king. No matter what you can do, it's just physics. Can't be physics. Sorry.
Yep.
But I think NASCAR, and also just think about the investment NASCAR made for this test. 6 cars. NASCAR picks up the tire bill. We went through. Guess how many tire sets we went through?
35.
30 sets of tires.
Man. It's like going to the snowball derby.
Yeah, when I would go, I'd go cheap. I only need 7 for the Derby.
Yeah.
Shout out Ty Majeski for his second Snowball Derby win in 4 years. So 30 sets with 6 cars is 180 sets, give or take $2,600 a set. It's $500,000 in tire bill, buddy. So that means, that's NASCAR picking up that tab because they want to figure out the best possible package to race at that track for the championship race. So, hey, they are putting their money where their mouth is because they just got a whole lot of money because they got billions and billions of dollars.
7 of them.
Yeesh. Over 7 years.
Yeah.
Round of applause for the leadership to getting that across the finish line.
Yeah.
$1.1 billion a year.
Not a bad deal.
No.
I'd take it.
I'd take it too. I would take it too.
It's interesting because the time is going to have to come, and we've seen it with the NFL where you have to start streaming, right? So the time is now for that. I'm excited to watch what's the first 14 races are on Fox, and then practice and qualifying's on Amazon, which is good because every Saturday, Friday, and Saturday, now just mainly Saturdays, I'm like, man, where's P&Q at?
Yeah,
I can't find it. I'm like every other network that they have, and I'm looking at it on my phone.
You're also probably on the go on a Saturday anyway, so it's better to have it on your phone.
1,000%. It's the best. Yeah. I usually listen to the NASCAR mobile app.
Yeah.
And I'm just listening to it at that point, which shout out to MRN and PRN. I love listening to it. But if I can watch it on Amazon,
even better.
Heck yeah. So that's cool. And then what's it? Amazon streams how many races there? 5 races. And then it goes to TNT.
Yep. And they're streaming a portion of it on Bleacher Report.
Reminds me of TNN.
Yeah, the
Nashville Network.
The Nashville Network.
That was what it was. Who was on that? Was that like Benny Parsons?
Eli Gold, buddy. God, throwing some Eli Gold audio too right here.
Oh my
for
goodness.
a clip. God, that brings back some warm fuzzies.
But yeah,
and then ends the year on NBC. I think an incredible job by the leadership getting that done. They obviously haven't got the deal done between NASCAR and the RTA to figure out what that piece of the pie looks like, but everybody's going to be healthier.
Yeah.
The trajectory of the sport over the next decade looking pretty solid. Shout out OD, Ben Kennedy, and Phelps, and Brian Herbst, and Peter Jung, and all those guys at leadership. They catch – I realized this. Back to the test at Phoenix. You've got all these team GMs, all these OEM leaders, all the crew chiefs. There's like 60 people in this room, right? And all they're doing is telling NASCAR what they're doing wrong or what they need to do better. Never once – so at the end of it, after like all the arrows are being shot, it was just like awkward silence, and I was like, "Thanks, guys. Thanks for letting us come out here." And they were like, "Thank you for saying thanks. Like it's a lot of money. Thanks for the effort from the teams to come out here too. It's a lot of money for those guys, but I mean all that by saying it's a thankless job.
Yeah,
everybody talks about
being a promoter of the league, man.
You're not getting thanked for when you do something right. But they deserve to be thanked for freaking getting this thing done.
Yeah, it's like being the principal. Or like, I think you look at like Roger Goodell, how bad he gets raked over the coals. Like he's definitely, I don't know what the ins and outs of that NFL stuff are, but like it's the same way with NASCAR.
Yeah, there's so many things behind the closed doors that are, those guys with lobbyists in D.C. and fighting the EPA. Yeah. Like there are so many battles those guys are fighting that we have no idea.
No clue.
We just think that we're trying to, man, if they just give them 200 more horsepower, they're going to be just fine.
Shifting.
Yeah, they're just fucking shifting. They just make fourth and fifth gear longer. It's going to make the racing so much better. No, that's not it. A lot of that stuff is not going to make the visual product of what you sit down on the couch and take a nap and wake up for the last 25 laps going to look any different than what it does right now.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you what. I 1,000% recommend winning a championship.
I don't doubt that. I'm sure it's a good time.
That was a good. Nashville was a good time. It's a little different. So I've been blessed to go to a couple different banquets. So the Xfinity and truck banquet used to be in Miami. So there with the 22 Xfinity car, we went on a couple rolls, and we would just you would finish a race in Miami, and then the banquet would be on Wednesday, so you'd stay down there for a couple days after the Cup race, and that was always a good time. It was at Trump Doral a couple times, and then the Cup banquet was in Vegas, and that was always did you ever go to the Cup banquet? It was a big time.
I've only been to one banquet or awards, and that was the first year in Nashville, and I just felt yucky that I didn't deserve a seat at the table, so next time I'm going to go to that, I'm going to be there because I deserve to be there.
That's because of the old school mentality of you had to be in the top 10 to get on the stage.
Right, in New York.
Yes.
Yeah.
That, and I agree. The one in Vegas seemed really big, but it was, and I go back to this. It was it was exclusive. It was a little bit too much, but it was exclusive to Cup. You had to be a Cup guy to get there.
I do think it should be separate.
That's the thing with Nashville. Nashville's great, and I liked it, but it's way more laid back. It's a very big room, and there's a lot of people. I mean, it's every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the sport is there, and it's just every series kind of under one banner, which is good, but it's also I like it because I get to see everybody in one shot, but there's also a little bit of Cup cars in Indy.
Yeah.
Maybe they should go to IRP.
Yep.
Or Busch cars at Indy.
You think the advanced auto parts weekly late models should do their awards to Tootsies.
They did it. They brought their teams and they were recognized. I was a little burnt. The guys who won the Mechanics Wear Award did no recognition at all. Nothing on that. So
who was it?
The 6 car.
Okay.
Good for them.
Dogs.
You'd even think Brad would say something about it. I mean, damn, Brad.
Yeah, give him a shout out.
Nothing.
Those guys were freaking.
Not to go fly a kite or nothing. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea how the Mechanics Wear stuff works. They beat the 24. I don't understand. I don't know that anybody really understands it, but they were a really good pit crew.
Yep.
I feel like the 24 was the best all year.
How about the Superlatives real quick? I know pit crews are a soft spot.
No, it's okay. It's not soft.
In a surprise vote.
There's nothing soft about pit road, dog.
In a surprise vote, the most popular driver was Chase Elliott. Is he ever going to be dethroned? No. Best rivalry.
Best Dale Jr. comes back.
Hamlin and Larson. Rewind back to the Kansas last lap. Certainly sparked that up.
I agree with that.
Was there any other run-ins between those two guys?
I think there have been a couple, but that was like the one where they were finally like, all right.
Yeah, and then Larson was like, he's not a buddy or something like that on pit road. Best driver on social media, your boy.
Sean Brennan.
Shout out.
I mean, Corey LaJoie.
And Corey LaJoie.
And
Ryan Murphy.
Ryan Murphy.
And Leanne for the strategy that we took the world by storm.
That's a big deal. Hey,
I think it's pretty cool.
That is the essence of stacking pennies.
That's it. Somebody had to win it.
That's right.
So I appreciate that. Thanks for the vote. Crew Chief of the Year, Jonathan Hassler, your boy.
Yep.
Did he deserve it?
Absolutely.
Yep. Just talked to him briefly at that test. He seems like a dog.
He's a dude. Yeah, I love that guy.
Most improved, Chris Buescher. 3 dubs this past year.
Absolutely well-deserved.
Yeah. RFK as a whole, I would say, gets the most improved team because those guys went from the outhouse to the penthouse.
Yep.
Those guys were back there with us, and they hit on something. Old Matt McCall back over there and Scott Graves really figured out some stuff.
Yep.
Person of the year, obviously on his retirement tour for the last call, Kevin Harvick. Happy Harvick.
There's a lot of years that he did not get Person of the Year.
Yeah, he didn't get the nickname Happy.
Yeah.
Because he was a happy,
some
enjoyable person.
would say that there's years that he could get
Head of the year.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
So I would say that the Head Award slowly transitioned over the course of his career and say, you know what, I'm going to be a nice guy.
That's it. He got up there and burned everybody on stage, though.
Everybody
stood up and clapped. Yeah, everybody stood up and clapped, and he was like, all right, sit down. That's enough. You'll all be pissed off at me in a month when I say that you suck or you made a bad mistake or your car's slow. So stop with all this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's Harvick.
Dude, he's going to add so much juice to that Fox broadcast. He's going to tighten that thing up, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be great.
There ain't no half-stepping around Harvick, that's for sure.
No, and he's not going to sit back in a meeting and be like, you know what, that's kind of half-assed, but I'm not going to say nothing. Nope.
Nope.
So I'm excited to see what he can bring to that Fox broadcast. Also, back to the broadcast real quick, HBO Max, just HBO in general, tied to the TNT deal. They're going to be streaming P&Q for the last half of the year. I think that could potentially be a cool player. HBO does a lot of cool stuff. Hard Knocks. I'd love to see a little Hard Knocks content. Who would be a team that would be I'm biased, but I think with the transition of our team right now, adding a team, new shop, a lot of new faces, truck teams being jammed in there at a new shop, it'd be cool to get a Hard Knocks going with Spire Motorsports.
Yeah. I mean, I think anything like that I would just always revert to Trackhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, Trackhouse is probably the leader on opening the doors and giving you a fresh look at everything. They have good personalities in there. And
going freaking MotoGP racing. Jesus.
Yeah.
They're going to be on the side of a damn swamp buggy here for long.
Them and Rick Ware.
Yeah, and he also said, I saw Justin say that he would be interested in doing the double, but the only way he would do it is with one of his drivers.
Man, Ross.
Imagine Ross just giving Joseph Newgarden the spoiler.
Imagine Ross winning and getting out and spiking a watermelon on the yard of bricks.
Oh, my God.
Be like, wait, no, you can't do that.
No, can't do that.
Drink the milk.
I wonder who would do that.
You think he would pick
Gisbergen.
You think he would pick whole milk?
I don't think.
Shane Van Gisbergen's calves are not fitting in an IndyCar.
I was just about to say that.
No chance.
That's what Larson, I was talking to him a little bit about it. He was wearing a McLaren hat yesterday, and he's like, my legs could hardly fit in the cockpit.
Larson?
Yeah.
No way.
Yes.
He's half of Scott Dixon.
Maybe 80% of Scott Dixon.
Him?
Yeah.
Scott Dixon seems like you're a little bit bigger than you.
No.
He's not?
He's like 5'11", 6 foot.
Kyle Larson is a little man.
He's a little guy. He said he was tight in there.
Really?
He also said it took him like 10 laps to figure out, because he did that rookie test however many weeks ago. He said it took him a little while to figure it out why when he would breathe through the corners, it was hard to catch his breath. And he said after about 10 laps, he goes, oh, I'm pulling like 3 Gs here. That's why I can't actually like suck in breath. Because once you let it out, you can't like get your diaphragm to pull any air back in until you get on the straightaway. Yeah. I was like, oh,
Wow, you NASCAR guys are pussies.
we are pussies. What else we got?
Uh,
A little bit of spotter roulette.
yeah, we're getting Fedowa. I love Fedowa. Oh, Nashville. I'll tell you more about Nashville.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
So I met the Barstool guys.
Yeah, Large and Spider.
Yeah, so the first night we had a freaking parade.
That was pretty cool.
It was cool. I was like, at first we were kind of in the outskirts of the city. I'm like, is anybody gonna be here? Like, it's a Wednesday, and they gave us about 300 T-shirts and hats and a one of those cannons.
Yes.
Oh my god!
So did they have you a float?
A whole float. Yeah, it was like a ticker tape parade.
Like you would when guys won the NFL, like the Lombardi Trophy, they just on the float.
Yes, and they had
hammer
these.
down.
Yeah, speaking of the trophy, they had these like foam cutout trophies and 12s, and I carried the foam trophy around all night. Like it was the real trophy.
Did you drink out of it?
No, because it was foam and it was just like a picture.
What's wrong with
Like it was just like a
styrofoam?
flat picture of it, so you couldn't like get anything into it. But I have it in my office if you'd like to see it. But the they had the cannon, like the rubber band one.
Yeah.
And of course, racing guys, it turned into like a competition.
How far you can throw it?
So we were shooting them onto the rooftop bars and like
Were
hitting
people
the signs.
Were people paying attention?
Not all of them. Like I totally pegged Carissa when we went by her. It was really cool, and it was.
Where did it go from? Like where to start, where to finish?
It started at the Music City Center, I guess, is where the banquet is, and then it finished there too, but it went down through downtown.
Where the river
right
is?
No, just right by Tootsie's and all that. And then when you got to the river, you just hooked a right and it drove you back around.
Yeah.
And it was really
Did they have the
a lot of
cars?
fun. Yeah, they had the cars behind us.
All of them?
Yes, all three. Just the three champions.
Oh,
Ben
okay.
Rhodes, Blaney, and
Okay.
Cole Custer. So they drove up and they did like the thing on the boulevard or whatever they call that.
Yeah.
On Broadway, is that what it is?
Yep.
And it was really cool. That was a cool experience. Unfortunately, it wounded a lot of men.
Yeah.
It's a lot of drinking. So then you go into that night, that first night, Barstool party was cool. SMI party.
Who looked like the best?
What do you mean?
Like whose suit did you look at? Like
At the banquet?
Yeah.
It was tight, but probably me.
Yeah, you went
I
out of
was
your
probably
way. You went out of your way to get a custom suit shout out stitched by Mitch.
Stitched by Mitch. Yeah, look like.
And the inner liner of your jacket was all pictures of the year.
Yep.
That was pretty cool.
So I would say.
And then Ryan stole your idea.
Well, Ryan didn't steal it. Stitch kind of gave it to him, but we're a team.
One team, one dream.
He put us on his back. So like he literally took the picture. I had a picture of my wife and kids, and he just took that out and made Blaney's deal. But it was really cool. He took a picture actually. Mitch just texted me and Ryan in a group chat and like was like, dude, this is a sick picture. So Rusty Jarrett took it with the trophy. We had our suits open. So yeah, it was cool. It was cool to share it. I've never had a custom suit made. Old Sean from Alpha Vision filmed me getting fitted and stuff, and I think it'll be out next week on Instagram to check it out. It was a really cool experience.
When in Rome, you can't go to the Men's Warehouse.
No, I
can't do it.
I couldn't.
No, you gotta. Yeah,
no, it was pretty penny, but it was worth it, and it's something that I can keep and like.
Yeah.
It looks so sick. I've never had like a vest and all that, and then he let me borrow some boots.
Saw that.
So I was having a contest with Mamba about who looked better. Mamba showed up in some slides, and I'm like, bro, this is a
can't do that.
This is a boot town. You're disqualified.
Yeah. What do you have, like Gucci
some
slides?
Red print loud ass thing. I'm like, dude, no, I'm a Peaky Blinder over here. Beat it.
I didn't see anybody. I last year I was sitting on my couch with a couple whiskeys and I was just grilling everybody.
Yeah.
But
moving houses, man. Ain't
got time for it.
But yeah, there was a lot of. I don't really know that anybody was like out crazy outlandishly dressed. I think there was like a lot of Jordan, like the guys were like the 2311 guys were Jordans with their stuff. But yeah, it was good. It was a good time. Then we went to Blaine. Had an after party.
Saw Cowboy Cerrone was there.
I met Whiskey Myers. I met those guys.
Yeah,
it was cool to talk to them. And then Blaney had a little. It was pretty small after party. It was a good time.
He said that you said that he wouldn't like. It wasn't a come one come all. It was
Blaney's like kind of quiet and. He's not like he was just wanting to let his hair down a little bit and kind of keep it tight just with our team. So it was pretty laid back, and Cole Swindell was there. He ended up getting on stage. I think Cole's a pretty good friend of a lot of guys in the garage, and it was just like a cover band, and it was a good time. So
I'd imagine.
Yep. And then the next day, there's a lot of hungover people on the plane ride back. I carried that foam trophy with me right onto the plane.
Yes. Did Penske have a bird?
Yeah, we took a Penske plane, which was good. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. 10 out of 10 recommend.
I don't doubt it.
It's it did seem like we talked about. I don't know. Like I go back and forth on if it needs to be combined with all the series.
I think that we need to separate the Cup Series.
The thing that I wonder is if it like marketing and how all the sales teams and all that stuff work. There's a lot of stuff that I don't notice, right? And
I don't think that the other ones need to be in Charlotte. Right? Like they did that. They did the Cup separate and then all this other stuff at Charlotte. I think that being in Charlotte could be good, right? Because like then if you bring all your people in, you can have functions at the shop. It creates a different atmosphere. What's the matter where it is, right? Like True.
I don't know, wherever you can have the most amount of people celebrating the work they all put in. Like if it was in Charlotte, you could have it would be
that's a valid point.
You know, like
All your shop guys,
everybody. There's a lot of people. Like man, there's a lot of people that have a hand in these race teams and have a hand in the win a championship. That when you go to a banquet like that, there's like certain people that like to push people out of the way and be like, I'm important, you know. And there's a lot of important people that like do a lot of these race teams that don't get recognized. And it's like, hey man, let everybody know that they're part of the team.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. I don't know. Nashville was really cool. Vegas was cool when we did there. Miami was great. I don't know if they stay in Nashville, they bring it somewhere else, but it's more just about celebrating with your team.
No doubt.
Dude, the bars, there's just so many bars in Nashville. It's
Oh,
like you don't know where to go.
Yeah. You get FOMO because you're in one place and you feel like there's a better party somewhere else.
A better band next door.
Yeah, right.
But the other thing I love about it is like I met the guy who ran Langley Speedway, right? I saw Ronnie Silk there. So like I like having all the racers in one. Bill Moles. Yeah, he was cool, and you know I like having all the racers in one spot too. So like
Yeah.
I'm like jaded about that. I don't know.
Well,
But yeah, so Fido is coming over.
Yep.
You're keeping TJ. Spire's kind of the one that shook up all the spotter, caused a lot of the spotter stuff.
keeping TJ. Tyler Green going from the 21 to the 77 Carson.
I don't know
I'm
that
keeping
they've
TJ
announced.
Bell.
I don't know that they've
The Hunt's
announced,
leaving. The 9. Trey. Chase's cousin's going to spot for him.
But that's what's going on there.
Yeah, I
wonder where the
assume
Hunt
the
lands.
Hunt lands with Josh Berry with the vacancy that Fido will went to y'all.
I think Fido is a stud.
He is a
You
stud.
know, I've enjoyed working with Josh Williams. Became good friends with him in the last.
He's going to go spot for Zane.
I don't know if that's announced yet, but we might have breaking news here. I don't know if he's going to spot for Zane, but he does. Oh, how did Bob Hawkers put it? He does spot for Zane in the truck stuff.
Yeah.
So that may be a potential landing spot for Josh. But I don't want to break his news. And yeah, a lot of moving and shaking on the spotter stand.
It's an important role now.
Yeah, pit crew stuff seems like at our place it's all staying the same. You never know kind of what's going to get shaken up. 9-gallon cans for Xfinity, they said. I don't quite understand a full grasp of that, so we'll talk about that next year once we understand what that looks like more when we come back after Christmas.
I think so. Maybe before, because I've been talking to Eric Amaral a little bit. He's got some shake-up in his plans. He's got a quote-unquote new adventure, and there was a little bit of some stuff I saw, a little bit snip. He might have been at a football game last week with somebody else. Somebody had an affiliation to Commanders.
Was he commanding the room?
Yeah, I think it was commanding the room. So he would be excited to sit down.
Well,
here.
Dale Jr.'s a big Commanders fan. Maybe he's going to drive for Dream Motorsports. You
Maybe
never
so.
know. You
Maybe
never know.
so. Who knows? I'd let him come right here on Stacking Pennies if he wanted to. He's just also a super down-to-earth guy. Has a good perspective on the sport. So I'm interested to see what he wants to get out of the next career path. So I'm working on that. And maybe just do a little Christmas special, a little white elephant
All right.
present exchange with the fellas.
Okay.
We don't have any penny for your thoughts because this was an impromptu rogue episode.
That's it.
Did you have any other questions?
No, I think you covered everything. I mean, it's good to know kind of what you guys covered the Phoenix test. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what the diffuser thing has been a big question. So I'm excited to kind of hear that, what it changed and what it did from a guy who was actually driving the car. So I'm excited about that.
Yep. Everybody's willing to get this thing to a better place, and it is consistently trending that direction, just like this show. Make sure you guys continue to tune in to Stacking Pennies. We have a lot of big plans for this thing and for you guys next year that we're trying to figure out and iron out all the details. But until then, stick around. Follow us on social media at Stacking Pennies, at Corey LaJoie, at Ryan Flores, all the things. Keep stacking pennies, guys. Appreciate y'all. Have a great Christmas if we don't talk to you, but we probably will. And we're also presented by Mobile One. Goodbye.